Hello, welcome to another edition of Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks. This is Rebecca at home. It's Monday. I'm at my house. I have already been out today to try to get my real ID because I want to travel with my family in July, and found out, this is so crazy, I had all my documentation. I have a birth certificate, I have an expired passport, so it wasn't really going to work. Birth certificate, social security card, proof of insurance, 2 forms of verifying where I live, all the things. And then she's like, oh, and your birth certificate matches your driver's license. I'm like, yeah. I'm divorced, but my name is the same now. And they said, that's not going to work. I have to have, for real ID in North Carolina at least, I need to have proof of every name change. So, and I don't think my marriage certificate would have had my name changed because I changed it afterwards with Social Security after I got married, and then I changed it back. There's too much baggage with my married name. And apparently I need proof of all those changes. Like I don't know what documentation went along with that. I just got my social security card, right? So I'm like, what? Like I need divorce papers. I need this or that. And I don't think my divorce papers had a name change on. Anyway, I digress. So that didn't work. So it is 10:20. I was at the DMV from 8 to 9. Got home, did some carving yesterday on a lino block. And so I tried some printing of that today. I'm really excited with how this turned out. So that was fun to kind of get some of that on my system. I also made phone calls to apparently getting a passport renewed. Mine's super old, not renewed, is potentially easier than doing the DMV stuff. Like all those checks they might be able to do without me having to provide all the paperwork. So, and then I can fly even without a real ID, but I'm going to try to get the real ID too. Anyway, not while y'all came to watch. Y'all came, going back to these, y'all came to hear me talk about how my knitting and everything is going. Going back to these, I'm hoping I can make some that have little knit things on them, I can draft some of those up and either make cards or I just want to do them for fun. But if y'all are interested in anything like that, I might put them on the website. So the biggest news for this week is it's now June, right? That reminds me I have to pay my credit card. Anyway, it's now June, so we're starting a new make-along, and we're starting what I'm calling the My First Sweater make-along. So that is, if you haven't knit a sweater before, this is your chance to do what I consider a fairly easy sweater. It's the Flax by Tin Can Knits, and I have finished mine. I'm going to try it on for y'all. And I'll hold it up. I'm wearing pink. It's pink. Apparently I'm into pink right now. But I am in a sweater kick right now, and I wanted to talk about this one first. This is the Flax, and because I wanted to boost the Coach and Connect, the Zoom option for connecting with myself, and Liz will be there too. During this make along, there are 4 sessions. It starts this Saturday, June 6th. It's from 6:30 to 7:30 U.S. Eastern Time. And it's $40 for all 4 sessions. It breaks down to $10 a session. It's the 6th, and then the 6th plus 14 is the 20th. And then I believe we're doing one right before I go on vacation and right after I get back in July. So it's the first Saturday in July, and then the middle of July. I keep saying I'm going to write down the dates, and I don't have the dates in front of me. So I don't know if I'm going to check and see if this can. No, that just does. No, on my watch, it doesn't go to the full calendar mode. It just goes to like the day mode. Anyway, so I'm pushing for that. We have 1 person signed up. I think that is such an excellent opportunity to get immediate feedback, to ask your questions instead of waiting for me to talk here and get an answer. Like I said, it's $10 a session. It's $40 for the whole thing. I think it's a great value. If you are local and want to do in person, we have a $50 kickoff class in person where we're going to go over a whole lot of things. And the first Coach and Connect session may go over some of these things. But it's a 2 hour. It's a 2-hour session on this Saturday. There's still a couple of spots left in that. But again, I know I have a lot of knitters and crocheters who are not local. And so the Zoom option or, that just might, even if you are local, could be a better option. If you're local, we are doing, in-house sit and stitch, every other Wednesday. And the calendar for that is on my website. And it's free to come to the knit along sessions that are specific to the flax. If you need help during those sessions, there's one rate of hourly help for if you didn't take the kickoff class and another rate if you did. You get like reduced rates to everything if you go to that kickoff class. Now, all of that is in person. The Coach and Connect is virtual and it's $40 and you get to come ask your questions. We get to get you going. I might discuss or tackle a topic on each one if there's nothing to talk about. But all of your questions can be answered and you can connect with others who are making the flax. So I'm really pushing for that. If you'd like to sign up for that, you can purchase that. There's no minimum number of people for that one. Or maximum, I should say. The in-person class maxes out at about 4 or 5. The virtual one, we can have as many people as we need or want. So that starts this Saturday. You can jump into it after this Saturday. It just, it's a better value if you buy all 4, So, or if you are coming to all 4, it kind of stays the same price. It's hard to reduce the price further on in for fewer sessions. So, it's just a better value if you buy early and come to all the sessions. So, ta-da! Let me try this on for you. So, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. No one is probably shocked by that. What I'm wearing right now, this is the Luminous Summer top. I wore this to the DMV today and I loved it. This one is made out of Barocco Vivo, which is a yarn that is not available anymore. So before I try on the flax, I just want to show you, I'm making another one because this one's so comfy. A couple summers ago, I spent a lot of time in this top. The Vivo is 100% cotton. The Luminous Summer is by Minimi Knit Design. And let me see. I feel like everything's getting tangled here. I've decided to knit another one using another stripy yarn because when it's a plain knit, a stripy yarn can sometimes be fun, or one that has colors in it. And this is, I am using Noro Natsumeki, which is 60% cotton, and then it's kind of the rest of it's silk and polyamide, but more cotton than silk. We have another yarn in the shop, the Compayito, that is like 30-30-30 cotton, silk, polyamide. I wonder if anything's a little warm. I made my 2 for tank, which I still have not blocked. I have not been blocking things because my kitty. I brought all my blocking pads and pins into the shop to block at the shop because the kitty likes to use her claws, sharpen them on carpets, like all my area rugs and everything. And she did it once or twice on the blocking mats when she first arrived. And I was like, So I think she would do that on top of my damp knit things and crocheted things. So I have to block at the shop and I have not been able to do that yet. So a lot of things that if anyone was waiting to see the blocked version of any garments, really good chance that it's going to take a little while. So, but this, these are 200, I think they're 200 gram cakes. They might be 150. I'm not sure, but it's a DK. And I think it's knitting up absolutely beautifully. I'm really loving it. I realized I think I left one of my sweaters in the other room. Of course I did. And just, was it 2 weeks ago? Last time I filmed? I don't know. One of the times recently I was like, I'm going to edit out when I walk away and come back. And I totally forgot. So if I go get that one, I may forget to edit it out again. No one is shocked by that. No, so this is, it's got a nice round, you know, nice wide neck. It does have short rows, so it'll be higher in the back than in the front. But other than that, it's got all over increases, like how this one is working, all over increases. I want to say I have like an inch or so to go on this, and I have my last set of increases, and then it's just sleeve separation. And I want to say you do put stitches on a holder for your sleeves, and then come back and do just the lightest little edging. So it's got big open little cap sleeves and a little bit of an A-frame shape, because I think once you do this, it comes out a little more. The right yarn with the right gauge is going to drape beautifully. I'm actually on 9s, which is a 5.5 millimeter for this, when I think the pattern calls for 7. But for this yarn, I had to go up to a 9. And I think I still am not quite getting gauge. It's still a little small for the stitch, which means this is thinner than a real DK. I think it's going to drape beautifully though because of that. And I did magic math, and I'm going up one size. That doesn't always work. I find doing the math, there's my kitty, doing the math, she's just running around everywhere, right? Doing the math will help if going up one size is actually going to work, or if you might have to go up or down 2 sizes, depending on how your gauge is different. So this one is fun, but since it is somewhat extra mindless right now, I'm not making as much progress on it. But I wanted to show you some idea of what the finished version of that will look like before I take it off. Because I want to show you how my flax came out. So this flax that I knit, I made out of Encore, which is our cost-effective yarn in the shop. It is 75% acrylic and 25% wool. But it is not super rough. It's not like Red Heart Super Saver. And it's not going to be super soft either, but it's, you know, if it's economical. It's like, I think I used 7 balls or so for this. Like, according to the math for my size, that's what I should have used. I had some left over, so I'm not sure. I can count ends for, hey. She's trying to sniff the still not dry. And she just knocked a painting down, but that's okay. The painting is dry. So this stuff is like, with the wavy colors in it, it's like Encore's version of Feeder Brook or Spin Cycle, but it's only $7 to $8 for, this one might have been a little over $8 because it's the fancier version of Encore. It's got color stripies in it, but averaging about $8 a ball. Even if I use 7, that's 56, counting tax and stuff, $60 for supplies for a sweater, which is pretty gosh darn good. My little dragon likes to catch on everything. That's why it's taking me a second here. So the same sweater in one of our nicer yarns, like Cascade 220, it's still a nice workhorse, not super expensive. That's like $11 or $12 a ball. But that, then we're talking closer to $100 plus for this sweater. And then Ultra Alpaca is a great option for this because it's half wool and half alpaca. That's $15 times 8. You know, you can start to see how that could add up. I still haven't woven my ends in. No one is shocked by that. I started this couple years ago, I think. I started it at our second shop to have a sample out of Encore to show how a cost-effective sweater can look, you know, and it's got nice structure to it. There's a really good chance, I can't remember, that I picked a size that's smaller than what I am right now. But it fits pretty well. It's hugging me a little, but it looks good. And it looks even better, excuse me, while I pull my pants up. It looks even better with a skirt because I'm not worried about where the pants are clinging or not, or that kind of thing. I like the length of it. I could have made it a little longer, but I also just wanted to get done. You can tell the stripies happen on their own, and I just let them be random so my sleeves don't match. But the way this is, it's a barber pole or fractal spinning of it. The 2 plies have different colors going on in it, and they change at different rates. So it's hard with a yarn like this to make it match anyway. This is the looser neck version where you just cast on up here and go. If this is too loose and you want a tighter neck, then you can start down here and pick up stitches later. It's a little more work, but it'll give you a tighter crew neck if that's what you want. I did not do the short rows in this. There's optional short rows to kick the back up a little bit for shaping, which again, if it's your first sweater, you can skip some stuff. You can choose not to do the short rows. This, even though the back and the front technically sit about the same height, like this is a little high. You might, if you wanted it down lower, you would do those short rows. You don't have to though. So it makes the first time you attempt a sweater easier. And if you want to make it out of Encore, this is actually really comfy. You can do it out of any worsted weight number 4 yarn, and you should do what fits your budget or what you want to work with. I mean, there's 2 schools of thought. There's like, I don't want to spend the money on something that I don't know how it's going to go. Or it's gonna be a lovelier sweater if you get nicer yarn for it. But you should get the one that you want to, or you're able to. Like, I totally understand either way, and I think they're both valid options, right? So the other thing that this has, there is they call it a garter like section that goes all the way down from your shoulder down your sleeve. And that, because we're knitting in a circle, that's the effect you get. That stops right here. If you're knitting flat, if you knit every row, it's this garter squishy stuff. When you're knitting in a circle, that means on one row you have to knit and the next row you have to purl, because knitting every row in a circle makes this fabric up here. So, but you don't have to do that on your first sweater. That's something we can talk about in Coach and Connect, where it tells you to set this up. You can say, nope, not going to do it. And you can just knit the whole thing. And so I think a raglan, top down raglan seam, which are these diagonals right here. You start at a number and you're increasing in 4 spots on both sides of these 4 spots to increase out from your neck out to the armholes and to make room for your sleeves. That is all done. Take a look at the back. That is all done as you go. It makes it really easy, I think, to make it work for your size. It also means you put your sleeves on holders. I'll show you that on another one of my sweaters in a second. You put the stitches on pause for the sleeves, and you start working on your torso, your body, and then you go back and do the sleeves. And I find, you can try it on as you go to see if it's working or not. The next sweater I'm about to show you, I tried on last night, and I called Liz on FaceTime to be like, is this gonna fit? It's gonna fit. Because I picked a smaller size when I started, and I can't remember why I did that. I picked a slightly smaller size than maybe is comfortable for my girth, I like to call it. The girls are big, the tummy's catching up on some level. But I think it's gonna have a closer comfort fit. but I think it's going to be really good. I may not be able to try that on for y'all right now because I've already put this one on, and I don't think the barber cords are in this room. There's so many things going on. So, but I think that's a great first sweater, is one you can try on as you go to have reassurance that it's working right. Top down, not as much complication of trying to sew it together when you're done. You can pick the level of complication, all those kinds of things. And that's what we're spending all our shop time, a lot of our shop time and some of this time is dedicated to for the next 2 months, for June and July. And yes, it's the middle of summer, and this is available in a worsted number 4 size pattern, the Flax Worsted. Flax DK is yarn that's a little thinner. And then Flax Sock is for fingering weight or sock yarn. I wouldn't recommend a sock yarn sweater for your first sweater unless you really love knitting with thin yarn and smaller needles. But the worsted or the DK, they are free patterns from Tin Can Knits. You can get them on Ravelry or off of Tin Can Knits has their own app. I think it's a really great option. And of course, our shop would love to support you with yarn to make the sweater, and you can start making the sweater anytime in the next 2 months. And it may take you longer than 2 months. It may not. Everyone knits at different speeds, right? So, but I really encourage you, if you want to jump into the Coach and Connect, I think the bigger a group we can get there, the more fun it will be for people to kind of share and hang out. It's different than my masterclass lecture series where it's me talking most of the time and everyone else may be asking questions at the end. Those were longer sessions on Sunday, and we're trying now to have a work-life balance. So we do this after the shop closes on Saturday, and then we have Sunday, Monday off. But this Saturday is when it starts. So I really want to encourage people to purchase that so you can get the Zoom link so you can join. Okay, so Flax, my first sweater, next 2 months. It's going to be amazing. I actually want to make another one. And right now I am like, ooh. I was thinking about making it out of a nicer yarn, but like this is wonderful, right? The other thing is, so this is the Flax Worsted. I am going to make the Flax DK so we can make some comparisons. It won't be like a one-to-one comparison because it's a thinner yarn. It's a nicer yarn, but I'm going to pick hopefully a similar size. We can see how it goes. So I don't have that yarn here at home because I'm making what progress I can on all the other things I'm working on. But I think I'm going to use the Queensland Fiji, which is a light DK, but it's got really crazy color changes, but it'll be faster color changes than this. I was going to use that for the Any Day sweatshirt, which is the make-along we're doing in, let's see, October, November. But I think I want to do one that is more sweatshirt feel for that, or like not feel necessarily, but like one color for that one. That is a drop shoulder. It's a totally different sweater construction, but this I think is a great one to start to see if it fits you as you go. Anyway, so let's see. I can't believe I got past sleeve separation on this. So last weekend, I know I didn't film last weekend because it was Memorial Day weekend. I gave myself some time off. Last weekend though, I finally got past the neckline ribbing, which is, it's like 4 inches. It's a turtleneck for the Key sweater by PetiteKnit. And I have had this like vision in my head of taking these yarns from Patagonia that had a really nice color palette. And, when I was, sorry, that was heavy. It's still got the sodas and, or not sodas, seltzer water and snacks from when I thought I was going to have to wait for hours at the DMV. And then they checked my materials and went, nope, we can't help you. And I went, oh, but then at least I was done. See, I've got different brands and flavors of seltzer. So that made a chunk. And I have like Cheez-It snacks. Woohoo! Anyway, so, once I got past the turtleneck, the ribbing, which is the bane of my existence, this started flying. And I was doing raglan increases and color work, and I think it's the stripes with the color works. Take a look at that. Like, anyone who follows me on Instagram and Facebook, I was up here somewhere earlier, and by the time I got down here, it was time for sleeve separation. My row gauge is off slightly because I was like, there's no way I'm at sleeve separation already. So I did a few more rows just to be on the safe side. But I tried this on last night. You can see it. I'm on the body. This is when the sleeves are, the stitches are on hold. I've got my barber cords. I have 2 sleeves on either side. 1, 2. And the only thing I'm knitting on is the body right now. But this is Juniper Moon Patagonia. And I think we only have 1 of these colors in the online shop because the other ones are relatively new. I managed to make some progress with the online shop a week or 2 ago, putting up our yarn baby. But there's a lot more to work on to update all of our listings. And we have 2 yarn reps coming in this week, so we will see. And I'm teaching some intro knitting, and the list goes on. So, but the reason, so these are my 5 colors that I picked to maybe do 2, to do a 2 color work for my harvester. And neither one of these is going to be, none of these are going to be in my harvester. But when I held up all 4 of these colors, both Hannah and Liz said, that's a great color palette, like as a group. And I was like, oh, then I have to do something stripey with that. And when I saw the key sweater by PetiteKnit, what I liked about it is that the stripes looked like they had interlocking puzzle pieces on them. So they were like strips of puzzle pieces. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And what's keeping me going on this is I have either 6 or 10 rows of just straight knitting, which for a while, the raglan increases always keep me going because it's just fun to try to keep track of that too. But then it's only 2 rows of color work in between that straight color to stripey thing. But those 2 rows are enough to make me go, ooh, ooh, it's almost time for that. Ooh, ooh. And to get gauge on this was supposed to be, I think, a 7 as well, a 4.5 millimeter. But I tested my gauge. I got gauge on an 8. So I'm on a 5 millimeter. And this is so lovely and soft on a 5 millimeter. I have 1 or 2 samples in the shop of the Patagonia. I have a densely color work, more sport weight, and this is more light DK. I have the Jupiter crop in Patagonia in the shop, which had a little moth damage actually from somewhere else. And so it's not on display right now. And then I used a Patagonia in my Koivua, which was color work again from the top down color work yoke knit along we did a couple years ago. But that had texture in it. That had knit and purl texture in it. So that also wasn't the best example of how soft. Patagonia is an organic merino. In the ball, it really doesn't necessarily, like feeling this, I'd be like, I don't think it's going to be soft. If you feel this, holy crap. It is soft and squishy. It's not as slick soft as superwash merino. Technically, this should hold up in a washing machine, but I probably wouldn't do it. It says it on the label, but it's not labeled as superwash. So, but it just, and when I put it on, it just feels divine. It's thinner than what I'm wearing right now. So it's cozier in a not super warm way. But I'm loving just how, just the two rows of color work. It's just so cool looking. So since I'm flying through this, although I'm making so many other things right now, I don't know if I'll stall out because I'm past the, yoke where there's some other interest, but because there's stripes, see, I can show you the inside of that color work, those 2 rows, because there's stripes and I'm changing colors and I want to get to the next color and see how it goes. I am really excited to see what kind of progress I make on this. And maybe next time, since I've showed you the flax this time, I can show you this. So ongoing projects right now, what I have, I'm hearing noises out. I've got my window open, and that either means squirrels or deer. But I have my just lost yarn on the floor, Luminous Summer. And that's more of a short sleeve summer top. The key sweater, it's going to be a long sleeve, more like a fall winter. I just finally started. These were both things I brought to like sit and wait at the DMV today. I finally started my Koivua tee, and one yarn stuck in the other. And yes, this is another pink, but it is a soft, warm pink. It is lovely. This is a Noro cotton and silk. It's the Sonata. See that color work? I mean, not color work. See that that lace work. The whole top is gonna be lace work. Let me see if I have. Here's my yoke chart. Hang on. Someone is making bacon outside. I am drooling. But okay, my Kuutar tee is gonna look like that. And I was going to use this blue, and this blue has been selling so well at the shop. And I'm making another blue top with the Luminous Summer that I'm doing the pink, and it's lovely. And now that I'm in the lace work, that is starting to move along too. This never got to the lace work. I stalled out because it was ribbing, and I was going, eh. And I like this color, but I wasn't really super excited about making it in this color. So that's sweater number 3 that is on needles. A lot of these are knit. So let's see where. Oh, there's the ball and yarn. Aha. This, and then I have to go run and get. Maybe I'll try to be quick. So on top of everything else I'm making, we had someone who's going to make a top out of the Huasco Coton. And the Huasco Coton, if we count, this is left over, but I'm actually making some progress on it last night. I did one whole row wrong, so I stopped last night and went to bed. This is the Huasco Coton Sparkle crocheted for the Leo, kind of wrapping up, but I'm still going on things from all the make-alongs. That's me. The Hexi Cardi make-along. This is going to be a Hexi Cardi, but it's not a granny Hexi Cardi. You can see all the fancy lace work in this. I stalled out on this, but I was slowly getting back to it after the crawl. And this is Huasco Coton Sparkle. It's hard to show up on camera, but there's some sparkle in it. That's crocheted. So if we count that one, which I haven't worked on and you know, I'm just starting to get back to, this is what I have left of my first ball of it, because it is fingering weight cotton. That is number 4, but I was talking with people about the sparkly, and I wanted to do a yellow with that, but it's hard to find a spot to switch. Like, I think that looks good in one multicolor or one solid. So the yellow led me to, well, what if I did a top where I'm striping every row, which sounds insane, I know. But I had this idea in my head. I don't know if it's coming out the way I wanted it to, but I'm gonna see it through, because it's like a personal project to see what happens with this. So I picked 4 colors of the Huasco Coton from Araucania, and I am changing every row. I decided on the Dingley Dell by Isabell Kraemer because I like how that one fits, and it's fingering weight, and it has a V-neck, but it's like, it's got a really unique shoulder construction. Like, that's the shoulder, and here's the little like beginning of the cap sleeve. It looks like a pieced sweater, but it's not. And that way the stripes can go around, like can stay in line all the way around. And I had to do a little bit of like head trippiness work, because I was thinking, oh, up until the V-neck, up until that's connected, I'm not going in a circle, so I'm going to have a million ends to weave in. And then I realized, because it's like, okay, think about it this way. I'm knitting back and forth right now. And the saving grace is that it's not short rows. It's just we cast on the back and then we're increasing and adding to the front as we go. So each row, a lot of them are growing, but not by cutting back in the middle of the row. But it's going this way for the yellow and back for the teal or aqua, and then this way for the white, and then this way for the blue. So the next row should start over here, but my yellow is over here. And that's what I wanted to do for my next row. So, but I figured out it's only carrying it for 4 rows, which in this stuff is really not a lot. I figured out, because you're increasing on both right side and wrong side rows, I should be doing like a right side row, but my yarn is over on the wrong side. So I just went to the wrong side and did a wrong side row following the right side instructions, which means you kind of have to flip things around. So I'm not working on this to show someone else how to do it. I'm working on this for myself. But I think the drape is going to be lovely, because it's supposed to be done on a 4 and I had to go up to a 6 to get gauge. Look at me having to keep going bigger. I really don't think I'm a tight knitter, but I think by changing the yarn that I'm using, it changes the stitch size and definition, and everyone knits differently. So the cool thing about this is, apart from having to untangle my yarns a lot, the really cool thing about this is I have done all of this and I don't have a lot of ends hanging. The ends I have hanging are when the yarn started, but so far I'm about to start. I just did the white. I'm about to start the blue. The blue is down here. I'm just going to pick it up and not pull super tight, but I found with this cotton, there's not a lot of give. So I actually want to pull it decently tight to go across. And that might mean that this edge doesn't have a lot of flexibility to it. And this is the right side of it. But I'm going to be picking up and doing a neck along that. So I'll fudge that when I get there. But this is how my Dingley Dell is going, with changing color every row and using 4 colors. Like I said, I don't know if it's looking exactly how I thought it would. I think the cotton is changing some of the stitch definition, but it's going to be lovely and soft, and I'm just going to see it through. Absolutely. So the last thing is that I'm making a Renunculus, and that's in the other room. And there's a really good chance I won't edit out that I have to run away and come back, because life right now. And I need I need an 11Z's snack, or I need lunch really soon. So bear with me while I go get that, because that was, okay, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be my 6th sweater on needles right now. Hang on. It wasn't too bad, right? Talk amongst yourselves. So I am using it's the same yarn as I'm using for this project, but it's the Sonata Shima instead. So it's got multiple colors in it. So this is the skein, how it looks in the shop. This is how it looks when I balled it up. This is what's left of the first ball. And this is how it's knitting up. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It's got these chunky stripes, which are getting potentially thinner. It's hard to show without it ripping off the needles. I live dangerously. The stripes are getting thinner as it gets bigger, but I am slowly approaching sleeve separation. So, and I'm knitting this on a size 10 needle. I had a knitter so the stitch, it's nice and loosey-goosey soft. I had a knitter, shout out to Donna, who brought in a top she's making with the Sonata on a smaller needle. And oh my gosh, it actually feels softer when there's tighter stitch definition. Not super tight, but this is loosey-goosey stitch definition. So you can feel it feels different than when it's got nice defined definition. Seems like redundant, right? But I decided it's time for another Ranunculus, and I want to make this one, which if I pull out, you can see how the flowers and everything. I want to make this one with slightly longer than short sleeves, but not long sleeves. So it has tighter arms on it than if you just bound off and followed the short sleeve instructions. So I love how the Ranunculus, and I know a lot of you watch me because of the videos I made to assist with the Ranunculus. I love how it looks different, but really great in all these different yarns, in solids, in tonals, in stripies, and it's just like, you can make it a million times and they're all different and they're all fun to wear. So Liz is making one with the Cumulus on an 11 right now, and you can hop over to the sideshow to see how that one's going. We were at roughly the same spot, and we're not anymore because she's past sleeve separation. Because I have 3, 4, I have 7 sweaters on needles. I know, I keep counting, and maybe I come up with a different number every time. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6. I was like, how is this adding? No. This counts towards the 3 over here. 6. I have 6. I was like, I didn't say 7 before. I'm hungry. Anyway, so I'm loving, and the crazy thing is, 4 of these are summer tops, and even this one, technically this cardigan could be a summer thing, and yet the one that I'm making mad progress on just because it's really fun is my not so summery one. But you know, there's air conditioning, there's other things, so I'm gonna try to rotate through some of these projects today. I might try to make some more print blocking things, like now that I've tried the little Brevard white squirrel thing that I made. I'm realizing making some stuff with just yarn and needles, and you know, who knows, something fun. I need inspiration. I don't want to just copy things I see online. Like that one was totally out of my head. So I sometimes prefer copying, you know, not copying other people's artwork, right? But drawing from something I can see, instead of just dreaming it up out of my head. Sometimes I get stalled out on that. So we'll see how that all goes. But to circle back to the flax, the Coach and Connect starts Saturday. You can jump into this even after June 6th. You can totally jump into this. And is it 6th or 7th? Now I'm doubting myself. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Oh, it might be the 7th. So, okay, today's the... I've been saying 6th over and over and over again. Pay attention to the dates that you find online. Today's the 2nd. So Tuesday's the 3rd. Thursday's the 5th, 6th. It's on the 7th. Anyway, oh my gosh. I think there's a reason the 6th is in my head for other purposes. This Saturday, 2025, the first Saturday in June, is when, it's the 7th, because we are not having our sit and stitch on June 8th for Sunday. We have a dual platform virtual sit and stitch once a month, and that is going to be on the 15th. It's Father's Day. But because we have the Coach and Connect on the 7th, that means that we can't do a sit and stitch on Sunday. It's just too much. It's way too much going on. So we really, really encourage you to jump into buying the Coach and Connect. Even if you can't come this Saturday, you can come to the other Saturdays and get advice and all this other kind of stuff. We can try to catch you up over email or other ways if you can't come Saturday. But I think it's a really great way to connect with us, connect with others who are making the flax. And you can get questions answered, you know, get feedback, get support. We are the safety net for you to bounce on and keep going. You know, I think about that net under the trapeze artists, and, you know, if they do fall into it, they tend to go boing. and we're here to keep you going, not just catch you when you fall, but to keep you going. So if you're local, consider there's still a few spots left in the in-person sessions. So, which is one class and then optional follow-up times on Wednesdays. But the one session in person is this Saturday as well. So, so that's a lot of the stuff. There's a few other things I got going on, but I feel like those are the fun ones. Just to like, I've got a shawl happening. I've got a couple shawls happening. They're not all in this room, but it's the tops that really. Like, I'm more likely to wear a top that I've made than wrap a shawl around my neck. And that's not everybody. We have a lot of people who come in with their hand knit shawls and they're gorgeous. It's just, I am less likely to wrap that around me, especially we have such climate control in the shop that it's like, anyway, I will keep you up to date on all the sagas going on in all the places, but it's been great to connect with you today. Consider Coach and Connect. Consider in person if you'd like it. There's lots of other classes going on too, but they are all in person. I've heard a lot of interest in the 2 at a time toe-up sock class. We are in the middle of doing that in person. I'm still hoping to do that virtually, but later in the year. It's going to be July at the earliest, but more likely August, sometime like that. I need to get some rest under my belt and some other things going on before we do that. But let me know if you're interested for that. And I am trying to keep a list of people who are interested so I can reach out to them when we decide to do that. It's more likely when than if. But we need to make sure we have enough people taking it to warrant doing it. The Coach and Connect is going to happen no matter how many people sign up, but I think it's more fun with more people. The sock class is a lot more energy, and so we would need a base number of people to take it, and I have not yet figured out what that base number is. Anyway, as Liz would say, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun stuff. And may your crafting be filled with joy and confidence. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.